Here we're going to use Tracelight to work through a typical market sizing exercise. We're going to look at the example of finance and accounting software being sold into UK SMEs. In the workbook so far, we have 5 years worth of ONS data on business accounts by size and by industry, as well as some quantitative outputs from expert calls. For this video, I'm just going to be using pretty typical natural language prompts. In the first instance, I've asked Tracelight to help me prepare the ONS volume data by creating a new sheet with a flat file layout of all the years together. We want to group industries by their addressability and by size, and I've given instructions on the years for the model and how to forecast volume data. You'll see that Tracelight's understood what's contained in the data and identified how SMEs should be bucketed. We'll click continue through each of Tracelight's workflows and can see that it's now created these 3 tabs for us. Using the highlighted green links, we can go directly to core parts of the model architecture. In our mapping tab, we have an index of the categories used in the model, which are used as dynamic labels for the volume summary. If we go into the flat file, we can see all the years of data pulled from the ONS tabs, and that our tagging is indeed dynamically linked to the mapping tab. Our volume data summarises the volume and growth. Next, we'll add a prompt that asks Tracelight to build out an assumptions and model build tab. I've given it some key instructions, such as how I'm defining the TAM, but I also suggested it ask me some questions, which I can click through easily. Once Tracelight's finished this workflow, we'll be able to see that it's created a neatly laid out model tab with TAM, vended market, and AMO calculations. It's also created an assumptions tab with all our key inputs populated with dummy data. Some of these don't look quite right, so we're going to use the data in our expert call tab to help us update them. I'm asking Tracelight to summarise the outputs in the assumption tab in a way that will update if we add more rows of calls data, and to not override any existing assumptions. Tracelight is pulling in our assumptions in reference columns and has given us a summary of what it thinks might need updating, such as pricing. I'm asking Tracelight to update pricing and average contract length to better reflect our expert calls. It's linked these assumptions to our benchmarks and changed the colour of the cells to green as per my pre-saved formatting instructions. I'm just doing a quick QC on what the outputs in the model sheet are looking like. The overall size of the market seems quite big, and in particular driven by the microsegment. Seeing how it's defined, I can see that we're including companies with 0 employees, which is skewing the size. Because Tracelight has built a dynamic tagging sheet for me, I can just ask it to update the tagging automatically. We can see now that the size of the annual opportunity in vended market looks a bit more sensible. Now we have our volume segments defined correctly, we could continue going through and tweaking the assumptions even further. Assuming we're happy for now with the outputs though, we could think about setting up some tabs with data for our charts in. We can do this either with Excel charts or ThinkCell charts. For Excel charts, just describe the type of chart you'd like, and Tracelight will create that in a new sheet for you. It can also help you with the so what. If you're a user of ThinkCell, you'll be able to paste our custom command for ThinkCell into your Tracelight workflow library and implement it using the / functionality. Here I'll just type in / ThinkCell and run the workflow, and it's going to ask me some questions on what type of chart I need. Once we've clicked through that, you'll see that it produces data in the format we need for a ThinkCell chart and linked it to the model data. All ThinkCell charts are possible, including more complex setups like a MECO. Here I'm making one that shows the vended market as a proportion of the TAM. And once it's created this data for us, we can just insert it into PowerPoint with the